Hello, this is basically the 76th number part of the PHP. So one person told that the IRCT basically, that is the IRTC basically, whatever name basically they are given basically, Indian Railway basically ticket uh, booking group basically, they have basically one error basically, that basically internally they also know basically know, but they have kept the one condition basically, that is the if ticket number is basically getting booked a duplicate basically, then basically you have to change the ticket number basically. That internally basically they do, but this basically never, and this is basically error basically, I'm telling you, this is going to convert into big error basically one day. So before basically the metro or basically bullet train comes into the picture, so please basically check this error basically, otherwise basically you will be in trouble basically. Why basically I will tell you, because this is getting processed basically, and this is, I am 100% sure basically this will convert into the DNA error basically. The duplicates DNA will generate in the software industry basically. The people basically who are using the PHP PHP human needs, the then the .NET human needs, they are going to suffer into the DNA basically. So with their next generation basically, when it's going to generate, that time basically the DNA will create problem to the medical industry, and this basically the doctors group basically will get in trouble basically. So if anybody doctors group basically will watch this video, so they can basically say the software industry, but software industry group basically has fired the SUNIL or NAIR basically. So I will not tell software industry directly basically, but reality is this, that mistake has happened. And then in this basically one of the person told the doctors basically were not in this basically, they were not supposed to check this everything basically. They told that basically doctors look out basically, why they will say that basically. But if DNA duplicates will get generated basically, then you can just imagine basically up to what level the stuffs are going to connect basically. That is the doctor look out, na basically. Unnecessary basically you will just check the stuff basically. The ticket number is duplicate. Then basically allocate the other ticket number. The ticket number which has already allocated 2 times basically. What you will do? Not 2 times basically, 100 times basically it might have allocated. So one of the person told that that was supposed to look after by the railway industry basically. So one of the person told that in this basically IITs, IIM basically, this whole group basically is supposed to handle railway industry. So they were basically only handling this average stuff, na basically. The railway minister basically is just looking after the physical stuff basically. But the computerized stuff basically is looking after by IIT Bombay, IIT Mumbai, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Kanpur. I don't know how many IITs basically they have created. So one of the prime minister basically told that भाई इतने सारे IIT बनाए ये लोग what they are doing basically. After watching this video, assume that basically prime minister watched this video, and he will say that, sorry, assume that basically Pakistan prime minister basically watched this video, and he will say that अरे भाई इंडिया में तो देखो क्या क्या चल रहा है. So he immediately basically will. But in this basically India is very smart basically. They have taken the Pakistani group into the government service also basically. So like this basically the government Pakistani government basically will not do anything to the Indian government basically. So that's basically not our point of view basically. So here the stuff is the DNA error basically will connect, and that is 100% sure basically it is going to connect. Same thing basically the C++ and C basically group, they have done this error long before basically. They were actually supposed to check this everything, because you will not able to believe basically .NET basically, and the PHP and many programming like Java also basically, mostly basically from few parts basically are created from C++ basically. So one of the percent of the error क्या है basically? So the error is real time error basically, because you don't know basically, you will not able to believe basically that physical area, few softwares basically directly connects with the physical areas. They directly connects with the human body parts basically. आप मतलब यकीन नहीं करोगे. And in this basically, sometime basically the public access modifier which I had declared here basically, that will not work, and this is the error basically which was supposed to be checked by the department, C department, Java is also basically created by C group basically. They were supposed to check this everything basically. But why basically it is connecting to the real world, real human body basically, and due to this basically the public modifier basically sometimes doesn't work basically. And when basically that doesn't work, that basically is the real time data basically that you have to check it basically. And this only basically doctors group basically can do. Why? Because they are connected with the body parts, no? Basically everything basically the software industry will do. Then what doctors industry will do? So here basically the doctors comes like Microsoft doctor, PHP doctors, Java doctors, C++ doctors, C doctors. These all basically doctors basically comes into the picture basically. Then one of the person to the doctors को थोड़ी पता है कि PHP क्या है. That is also correct. Doctors don't know PHP basically. Doctor don't know C++ basically. So that is also stuff is there basically. वो भी एक stuff है. That is also one of the stuff basically. But this is connecting to the software industry DNA basically. Whenever basically the software industry, but here the one of the person told the software industry human needs basically are already used by the many of the world basically. Many of the world means most of, I assume that basically 900 crore is the population. So 850 crore people has already used the human needs of the software industry. So now basically what you will do basically. So that basically is the correct the error and then basically create some human needs basically that will recorrect the error basically. That only thing basically, and don't basically tell that don't display the advertising to the public that basically हमने ये किया, हमने वो झंडा गाड़ दिया, हमने ये झंडे गाड़ दिए. Don't tell this everything basically. Otherwise basically you will get in trouble basically. Otherwise the software industry people will not able to get out from the house only basically. But this is not the mistake of the software industry basically. Because software industry तो को तो ये भी नहीं पता है कि all the user controls are basically created from the thousand cities. They don't know this also because in IITs, in IIM, basically in Oxford University, in the Harvard University, they basically have never got this type of training basically. That basically training you are getting here basically in the video basically. But one of the person told that if one hero heroine basically or basically actor actress basically upload the videos, they basically gets 1 crore subscription basically. But here one person basically who is giving the awareness of the education basically, he is not getting a single subscription basically. So one of the person told that is Kalyug basically. The people who is basically doing good stuff basically, he basically never gets the reward basically. And the people who are basically into bad stuff basically. So one of the person told that means Bollywood groups are doing bad. No, basically I am not telling that the Bollywood groups are doing bad basically, but their craze is up to that level that basically they immediately gets the 1 crore subscription. So there might be some stuff basically. There might be something basically because they have created software industry, no, basically, and they have the power of the entire data and entire roadmap of the each and every public basically. So digital world is totally controlled by the Bollywood industry basically. Digital world is totally controlled, and this is basically dangerous also basically. Digital world is totally controlled by the Bollywood group basically. But here one of the person of the Bollywood group hai, they are into the story creation basically, right? So they also basically has never tracked this basically. They are also basically into the story industry, so they also basically never able to track. So that is in Mumbai basically, and in Bangalore group basically they were doing parties with the Bollywood group basically. And here basically assume that basically Universe group also basically joined them basically. Why? Because they are also watching the Bollywood movies, this, that, each and everything. So one of the person told that where is the real error basically. Best example is ticketing basically. That is basically error. Real time error basically. Public modifier basically sometimes doesn't work. When that doesn't work, when the real data which is supposed to be work and it is not working, that you will basically one person basically told that basically. So for that basically the real time data is required. For that basically lots of people say that we have created sun solar system also basically. You will not able to believe that basically. You are telling like this basically, Sunil. We have taken the sun solar system also into checking. Next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic.